Alright, finally, after much internet searching and patiently waiting and contacting a lot of people, I'm able to acquire what I believe is all the parts for the AC system. Now what this is this is all going to be like a GTS system for the 4AG engine, AE86 GTS, and it's a little bit different than the SR5, and this is the version with power steering. So go over with the parts with you real quick. Those are the AC lines, the hard lines. That's the compressor right here. This right here is the manifold, one of the hardest parts to find these days because nobody makes them anymore. They connect, they mount to the compressor, and the lines mount to the manifold, hence the name manifold. Just some oil right here. This was another hard part to find, the AC amplifier for the GTS. It's different than the SR5 in that the SR5 has a green plug color and it has 8 pins, as opposed to this one that has 13 pins. Also, I believe the GTS with no power steering uses the SR5 version as well. So I don't even know if they had the no power steering version in the United States, but I don't know. Here's just a couple of cans of R134. The condenser right here with the fin straightener tool. We'll go over that here in a little bit. When it was shipped, it was damaged a little bit. I mean, just the fins. It's mainly, it's not going to affect it that much, but I'm going to try to straighten out some of those. This is the mount to the 4AG block compressor mount. It works in conjunction with the power steering mount. You can see this mounting hole right here is offset just a little bit, and what the power steering mount, one of the holes goes in there, and it takes up that gap. Anyways, here's the receiver dryer. I'm converting I'm converting it to a R134 system while I'm doing this. So here's the evaporator and the cooler box. This is the old one. I got a new one. I probably already saw that. So right there, nice and shiny. And that's the top half of that shell right there, and that's actually where the AC amplifier goes. Right in this box right here. So there's that. The compressor mounting bolts and some equipment that we also need to do the O-rings. I think these are neoprene. You had to use those for the R134 kit, or R134 system, I mean. This right here is a retrofit parts kit. You're gonna have to switch your service ports on your lines. Like example, this right here. This is like a Schrader valve system, but you need to convert it over to this style right here so you can service it using this manifold, AC manifold set, which these plugs like this right here. You pull that back and it slides on to the top, and then you can service your AC system this way. This is just some oil for this pump. You need a vacuum pump to evacuate the system. Once you connect all the lines up together, you're gonna have to vacuum that pump. You're gonna have to vacuum your system out to get all the moisture out, because this is a sealed system, and any moisture will kill the system, will kill your compressor, and that is expensive, so you don't want to do that. Basically, that's it. Let's after all this time of accumulating these parts, I'm finally able to go ahead and start with this install. So here we go. Forgot to mention one important thing. You're going to need a GTS wiring harness as well for the AC system. There are two separate ones. Here on the right side, you'll see this is for the SR5. They're pretty similar. They got a lot of the similar wiring harnesses, but the SR5 has this, again, the 8-pin, it's an 8-pin AC amplifier harness, and the GTS one uses this 13-pin. Also, you'll see two relays that the GTS system has over the SR5, and so that's another hard part to track down, but it's possible. So if you're trying to find parts, you know, they're out there. You just gotta keep trying. Everybody's taking their 86s and trying to drift them and stuff like that, and so a lot of times they'll remove the AC system out and the power steering system in order to give them a couple extra horsepower, or save a little weight or whatever. So what to do now is, because these have been out of the previous car for so long, they're really dirty. Like, let's see if you can look in there and not see the crud that's in there. It needs to be flushed out. So what you can do is you can buy, there's this stuff that you can get like at O'Reilly's. This is tire clean and flush. You just, I don't know, I've never used it before, but it seems pretty self-explanatory. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll just do this one line here, and then you can assume that I've done the rest of it. That. This nozzle right here it's got a cone nozzle, so it'll fit, and it's rubber, so it'll kind of seal. You know, no matter what the diameter of the tube is. Give this a little shake. By the way, this was $16.99 at O'Reilly's. Yeah, I didn't go to AutoZone this time, so I got a bottle. I'm going to stick the end in there, like that. Then I'm going to flush. Alright, here goes nothing. Hopefully you can see this. Got the nozzle up on the hose. Ready? That line. Alright. Then we take our compressed air. Try to hold it on this towel. Wow, it looks a lot better. You can see on the end of the hose, at least. There's none of that crud that was in there like before, so I know you're all dying to see what came out. Here's what it looks like. Not too bad. One important step that you don't want to forget to do, obviously, is you'll probably be converting your system to R134, which is the kind of like the today's standards of the coolant inside your AC system, your refrigerant. It's more environmentally friendly, and it's a lot cheaper, I believe. It's hard to find R12 now. I think a lot of places don't sell it. But R134, you can buy that in a can at AutoZone. So the thing that you want to do is the R12 uses these black O-rings, like you see right there. And what you'll need to do is you'll have to go through and change all of those to R134 compatible O-rings, which are these green ones, like this. Pretty simple. But you'll just have to disconnect. They're all at all the connection points on your lines. You have to do that throughout your whole system. Anyway, okay, this is a new condenser, and when it was shipped, it had acquired some damage here. You can see the damage is just. I mean, it will affect it a little bit because of the fins. You want these fins open, but there's no cracks or leaks in the condenser. So. All you need to do is straighten these fins out, and so that's what I'm going to try to do. I got this tool right here. I got this from Harbor Freight. It was like $2, almost about $3 maybe after tax. So we're going to use the 10, number 10 here on this, and all you need to do is you stick it in the fins, and for example, like this right here, you can see this right here. You just brush it through like that, and it kind of straightens it out like this. So it makes it to where the air will pass through unobstructed. All right, let me see if I can find a better one. See that flat spot right here? So go through. Takes a little bit of, if the fins are really bent, you gotta kind of, but see, there you go. Like magic. So we're gonna do the whole deal here. So just go through like that. Alright, here's that evaporator box, cooler box. You want to make sure you clean this out inside really well. I took the whole thing apart. There's these clips on the side right here. All these clips, you just take those off. They're all the way around. The halves off, and then you can get a vacuum in there real good. Make sure you clean it out because there's a bunch of leaves and crap that gets in there over time. There was plenty in mine. So the AC amplifier amp goes here. This is for the GTS version. I'm just gonna all it does is slides in this groove right here, like that. Simple as that. And then this little plastic cover just goes on top like this. That's it. Alright, looking underneath the car here, I got the compressor mount pretty much on there. You use the two studs off the motor mount right here. And then I don't know if you're supposed to use studs for these, but This is bolt right here. This one goes through the power steering mount as well, like I mentioned earlier. And I got this bolt right here that it's a little short bolt. You don't want anything too long for this. Like for example, see this one's just that long right there. I don't have any studs, but I think a bolt goes here anyways. And you want to keep this loose until you get all the bolts started, because if you tighten it up, it's hard to get that last bolt in because it's not lined up perfectly. So I had a little issue with that too. So we'll go ahead and tighten these down now. Okay, now I'm going to install the manifold on the compressor, and we're going to use these neoprene style O-rings, and you want to get some of your oil. Also, you're supposed to put, I've emptied the mineral oil out of this because this compressor was set up for R12. When you order it, you got to make sure that you know what kind of oil comes with it. Mine was sent with mineral oil, which is for R12 system. So I had to empty it, and I need to put the two ounces of the PAG oil in this compressor. You need to put that in there before you, just directly through the ports. That way you don't burn anything up when you first start it to charge the system. So I'll put that through these ports right here before I seal it up. But I didn't want to put it in there right now because I'm going to install it, and I didn't want the oil to be have a chance to run out and everything if I needed to turn this thing. So also you want to so this has a Schrader valve on the right here, right off the manifold, and I haven't seen that before, but I don't know, but anyways, so you want to make sure that you change these Schrader valves out as well for new ones, because those are the points where they tend to fail the most, from what I understand.
知らないまま回る景色の上、次に見る星を考えてた。指先で探す忘れかけた名前、目を閉じた一瞬に光った気がした。変わる季節にそう思った君が書くストーリーが夜空
Alright, moving inside the car now, we're going to install this cooler box with the evaporator inside. Already got the AC amplifier in place for the GTS, and we got the high pressure switch right here, and we're going to go ahead and connect that to the AC harness, the GTS harness. It's got the one with the 2 relays on there. We're going to go ahead and connect that because when it's in the car, you can see the 2 lines here that go stick through the firewall, and it's going to be almost impossible to get this on there. So I'll go ahead and put that on. This is the drain hose. You want to make sure this gets through that line, or gets through the firewall, because that's what drains the water. You don't want that all over your carpet. First, here's the box. Down below, here's another bolt that you put in. I would fasten it in. There's your drain hose again, making sure that you stay going through the firewall. Just tighten this down. Then that clamp will line up with the blower motor. Just tighten, and then you'll tighten that up. There's another fastener right here, but that tab broke off from the box, so I don't have that. I'll just have to trust that it'll hold with these 3 bolts. Those 2 back here, right there, and that one down there. Okay, some of you guys that might know my car, if you've been following, you'll see that I have what looks to be factory oil cooler here. Well, it is factory oil cooler, but this I got this off of an '89 Corolla GTS version, and it was in the salvage yard, and it had this on there, so I was like, well, let me try it. I tried it out and found a good spot for it right there. Looks like it should clear. It will probably clear the condenser, the evaporator, which sits about right here, but we'll see. I'm going to install the condenser now. I had to remove the other oil cooler that I had, that blue one. I had to remove that because it was getting in the way of, it was sitting for a little bit further back, and it was, the evaporator dryer was contacting, would not let it sit there, so we're going to go ahead and install the condenser, and let me show you this. As you remembered yesterday, this tool right here, you just brush it along the cooling fins with radiator fin straightener, and as you can see now, it is all good. Thanks to my wife. Actually, my wife took over this project, and she straightened out everything, and it looks really good now, brand new. Besides the paint, you know, but so we're gonna go ahead and install this now. Okay, right behind the oil cooler, you can see it. Just sitting in there, but it just mounts up 4 corners, and we'll get that in right now. All right, now we got the condenser installed. Kind of had to do my own thing as far as the mounts goes. The holes didn't line up perfectly, but we got it to work. So got the O-rings on, and the good thing to do is to take some PAG oil and just condition the O-ring. And actually, you do that when you're putting the O-ring on. That way, it's not like so dry, and this will make a better seal. All right, so from the condenser, go through here, you follow that line through, and you come back over here, and the line comes out, and then makes a 90-degree turn up and over all your other lines, and then we'll connect to the compressor manifold. I always wondered what this mount was right here on the side of the battery tray, because it was kind of sticking out there, but turns out it's for the one of the AC lines, so that's cool. Okay, we're back on the compressor now, and just wanted to remind you and remind myself, before we seal up the system, as in connecting all the lines, we have to remember to we're going to put 2 ounces of PAG 46 oil in this compressor. We've drained the shipping oil, which was mineral oil. That's for R12 system. And we're going to go ahead and add 2 ounces into 1 ounce each into these ports, just to help the compressor stay lubricated upon startup. So here's my method right there. 2 ounces. And I'll use this little funnel